To the world, we were happy, loving, and inseparable couple. She used to smile when we walked down the street together. She'd hold my hand, and anyone who saw us would think they're made for each other. But if someone could have stepped into my shoes, if they could have seen what really went on behind closed doors, they would have realized how wrong they were. Most mornings followed the same pattern. I would wake up early, get ready for work, and she would linger around the kitchen, pretending to be sleepy but sweet. Before I left, she would kiss me, long enough to make me feel loved, short enough not to delay me. I never questioned her intentions. To me, that kiss meant devotion, loyalty. It was like a silent promise. I'll be here when you get back. But 5 minutes after I left, the reality began. She would grab her phone, text Adam, and invite him over. He would show up, sometimes within 10 minutes, sometimes half an hour later, and she would welcome him into the same home we shared. They would hug, laugh, play around, and then get intimate. By the time I returned from work, Adam was long gone, and Lara was waiting for me as if nothing had happened. She would smile, serve me food, talk about her day, and never let a shadow of guilt show on her face. I had no idea. I was blind. For months, this routine went on. She played the perfect girlfriend while secretly giving herself to another man. The guy's name was Adam, and at the time, I didn't even know such a person existed in her world. I was her boyfriend. I was supposed to be the one who knew her best. But looking back now, I realize I was just living in her carefully constructed lie. One weekend, everything changed. That was the turning point. It was a Saturday afternoon. We were home together, joking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. It was one of those rare weekends where I wasn't buried in work, and I was actually glad to just be with her. I pulled her close by the waist and started tickling her. She laughed so hard that tears welled up in her eyes. She was squirming, begging me to stop. But then, in between her laughter, she screamed out, "Ow, Adam! Stop! Stop! I'm laughing so much, Adam!" My hands froze. My heart stopped. In that moment, it felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. I pulled back and looked straight into her eyes. My voice was cold when I asked, "What? What did you just say?" She froze too, her smile fading instantly. What do you mean?" she stuttered. "You said Adam. Why did you say Adam?" "I'm Peter. Who the hell is Adam?" Her face went pale. She fumbled for words. No, you heard wrong. I said Peter. You must have misheard, but I knew I hadn't. The sound of that name was still ringing in my ears, sharp and undeniable. My gut twisted with anger, suspicion, and betrayal. I didn't argue further at that moment. Instead, I reached for her phone, which was lying on the table. Instinct told me the truth was hidden in there. She panicked instantly, lunging toward me, trying to snatch it back. No, please don't. Give me my phone, she screamed, her voice trembling with desperation. But I held it firmly, pushing her away. With my hands shaking, I unlocked it, and then the pieces started falling into place. There it was, a contact saved under the name Adam Love. My chest tightened as I opened the chat. Message after message revealed the truth. Flirty conversations, explicit words, and worst of all, pictures. Nude pictures she had sent him almost daily. I felt my stomach drop. My vision blurred with rage. I kept scrolling, my hands trembling harder with every word I read. She had told him things she never told me. She had laughed with him in ways I hadn't seen in months. And every time I went to work, she invited him into our home. It wasn't just emotional cheating, it was physical, repeated, shameless. Behind me, she broke down. She was crying uncontrollably, begging me to stop looking. Please, Peter, don't, please, just listen to me. But I couldn't stop. The evidence was there, plain as day. Finally, I turned to her, my voice breaking with rage. How long has this been going on? How many times, Lara? Tell me the damn truth. She shook her head violently, still crying. It's not what you think, I swear. It was just a mistake. I cut her off, shouting, a mistake doesn't happen every day. You screamed his name in my face. I'm not blind. How many times, Lara? She buried her face in her hands, sobbing. At first she denied, then she tried to twist her words, but I pressed harder and harder. The more I pushed, the weaker her defenses became. Finally, after what felt like hours of confrontation, her face wet with tears. I didn't mean for it to happen. At first, it was just texting, just fun, but then he came over, and then it kept happening. I don't even know why I did it. I love you, Peter. I swear I do. but I couldn't stop myself. Her excuses poured out like poison, but they only burned me further. I couldn't even recognize her anymore. This was not the woman I thought I loved. This was a stranger who had betrayed me in the cruelest way possible. I felt a heaviness in my chest, a mix of grief and anger so strong I could barely breathe. "You brought him into my house!" I whispered, my voice shaking, "while I was out working for us. You were here with him. And then you kissed me, like nothing happened. How could you do that to me?" She reached for me, trying to grab my hand, but I pulled away. "Peter, please. I'm so sorry. I'll end it with him. I'll never do it again. Just don't leave me." But her words meant nothing now. Sorry couldn't erase the images burned into my mind. Sorry couldn't erase the months of lies, the betrayal, the humiliation. I straightened up, holding her phone tightly. "It's over, Lara. We're done. Pack your things and get out of my house. Right now." Her eyes widened in shock. No, please, don't do this. I'll change, I promise. I'll do anything." She clung to me, begging, sobbing harder than ever. But I stood my ground. My voice was firm, even though my heart was breaking. "You should have thought about that before. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine." Eventually, defeated, she gathered her things and walked out the door. The sound of that door closing echoed in my head like a final nail in the coffin of our relationship. I sank into the couch, exhausted, devastated, and broken. My entire world had crumbled in a single weekend. And that's how I lost Lara. Not because life pulled us apart, not because we grew distant, but because she chose to give herself to another man. Because she chose betrayal over love. Even now, every time I think of her, I don't see the girl who kissed me goodbye every morning. I see the girl who whispered another man's name while laughing in my arms.